In this persuasion theme, we will focus on consistency. As a frame of reference, we will use Cialdini's influence, which talks about consistency and commitment as powerful persuasion techniques. The basic idea here is that we try to harmonize our future decisions against the course of action we have already undertaken. Many Web 2.0 companies use this technique to keep us active, with the service clearly displaying evidence of past behavior. YouTube, for instance, shows users their most recent video subscriptions. It also has a section where they welcome the user and have a set of statistics on the videos the user has viewed, the channels they have looked at, and the subscriptions they have. In a similar fashion, Facebook presents a window into the user's activities in the form of a mini feed. This is broadcast to friends, so of course has a social comparison component. However, its main facility is in capturing the types of activities the person does, such as setting their status on the website. In fact, these activities are highlighted in two places, in the mini feed as well as in their own individual sections. The notes section, for instance, here highlights the two recent notes that I have sent. Thus, anytime I glance at this section, I am motivated to send a new note. In a similar fashion, the wall-to-wall section of the page highlights most recent posts in order to use the past to help motivate future activity. We have just established that highlighting and displaying the user's most recent activity can help reinforce self-consistency. Services offered at a periodic fixed interval rate also reinforce self-consistency because they make it easier to establish a regimental schedule. The New York Times, for instance, offers newsletters which can be emailed to users on a weekly, monthly, or bi-weekly basis. These newsletters accumulate over time and establish a rich history of past behavior. Here, for instance, in my Yahoo inbox, I can see that I have received about 500 newsletters from the New York Times in the past year. Apart from this evidence of past behavior, the daily routine provides a level of control and sets expectations. Since my expectations are met on a frequent basis, I start to trust my past behavior and base my future decisions on it. In other words, positive reinforcement helps maintain self-consistency. But that's not all. My expectations can be much more than just expectations on quality. On the iTunes Music Store, for instance, users expect to pay 99 cents per song. This is an expectation based on frequent use and past behavior. The iTunes Music Store was unique when it pioneered this pricing model. This consistent pricing model makes the store very credible in the eyes of its users. Because once you've bought a song for 99 cents, it's easier to buy the next song for the same price. Offering fixed terms is therefore another good way of reinforcing self-consistency. Service-wide metaphors can take this support even further. In RottenTomatoes.com, for instance, chugging tomatoes becomes the metaphor for good or bad movies. Rotten movies are shown as rotten tomatoes, good movies as fresh tomatoes, and excellent movies are certified fresh. The very act of browsing for movies becomes the act of looking for good tomatoes. The tomato picker, for instance, is the browser. The users are therefore always in the self-consistent metaphor of picking tomatoes. Whenever they read reviews, whenever they go ahead and contribute as reviewers themselves, whenever they participate in forum discussions, they're always partaking in behavior that is self-consistent with their past. Therefore, our final recommendation is to provide a strong, consistent metaphor for reinforcing self-consistency. So, to quickly recap, self-consistency is reinforced when past behavior is prominently displayed, when services are offered with a fixed frequency and expectations are met, when terms can be fixed, and when a strong theme or metaphor is used to guide the user.